Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Out of Rap. Today, I am joined by a living legend, someone I call Yoda. I must speak to Lee every single day. He's helped me immeasurably, not just since I was self employed, but prior to that. Lee Houghton of Get Knowledge, all round superstar. Welcome.
Oh, honestly, Mr. Teasdale, thank you so much. I'm not really sure how I can live up to those words that you've just said, but honestly, coming from you, they mean a lot. It's an absolute pleasure to be chatting to you recorded, but then also every single day to chat to you in an unrecorded, edited way as well. It's just a pleasure. You brighten me day.
Well, we start our day, well, not literally like Morecambe and Wise style, but we start
Not
our
yet.
day with a few others on like a body doubling productivity kickstart to the day that we call frogging, eat your frog. Um, and that I think has made a I don't know about you, it's made a massive difference to w- when I started. When did we start?
Like,
September?
September time, yeah. September
Was
last
it?
year. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
I know. I know. Now at the start of the intro, I used a title that I know you are. It's new. You're kind of getting used to wearing it, but, and it gives me great pleasure to say this again. Recently, you were awarded, won National Coach of the Year, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it still feels. I'm getting more used to people saying it, but I am really still struggling with saying it myself. But yes, that title, it was like just the most beautiful day and just the most like amazing experience to get that at the end, completely unexpected, as well. Yes, that is my current title, your National Coach of the Year. It sounds strange, doesn't it?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And you didn't necessarily talk about it too much beforehand. So I'm going to prize that out of you. Who was the organization? When did the whole sort of process start?
Yeah. So I think just to pick up on the first bit there, I didn't talk about it a lot beforehand because I didn't think that I was going to win. And what I do to protect myself is because I always remember actually, and I will answer your question in a second, but like, at the start of the day, I saw somebody that from an organisation that I've done a bit of work for in the past, and they congratulated me on being a finalist, and I said, "Oh, yeah, thanks very much, but I'm just here to make the numbers up." And I reflected on that through the day and things because and I've said that to protect myself. So the fall, if I when I didn't win, if I didn't win, wouldn't have been that far because everybody was expecting me to not win. And so I did that to protect myself. And so like in the lead up to it, I didn't really tell a large number. I posted about it a couple of times on LinkedIn and stuff. But yeah, I didn't really tell a lot of people because one, I didn't necessarily believe or expect to win, but then also I didn't want to like set like lofty goals for myself or to create a real big height that I can fall down from the day after. It's like when you know when you were like passing your driving test, people don't tell when your driving
Yeah.
test is, so you don't have to say you failed. It's exactly the same thing, and I found myself doing exactly the same thing. So, but yeah, so I learned a lot about myself through that whole process actually. But the process started, I think it was like the back end of last year. I received a nomination from somebody that I coached last year, and they nominated me for the award in the category of leadership coach of the year because that was a leader, and they just said some like amazing words, and that was enough for me. The fact that they've spent time to write just amazing words on the impact that I'd had on them, their leadership, and the baggage that they carry on with them every night was a lot less, and all of that stuff, and the ability to work with the team was far better. They were engaging the people and just enjoying um, their days again was like that. That's the reward, isn't it? That's what it's all about. But just to see that written down was just, yeah, like really, really lovely. Lovely is a word I use a lot, and I don't think it, but I don't know a stronger word. It might just be me being northern, but yeah, it's just been a lovely couple of
It,
weeks. Lovely
maybe
couple.
it's maybe you've been rubbing off on me because I tend to use it a lot as well. I can't think of a better one that encapsulates that kind of feeling. And was that one of the phrases that they're carrying less baggage home?
Yeah, yes, and yeah. Honestly, it was amazing. Like I just feel so privileged and grateful to have the best job in the world. And I genuinely mean that. And like I used to DJ years ago and I used to play music and people would come, I'm not gonna say running to the dance floor, but maybe walking to the dance floor quite fast because there was a song on that they liked. And then they'd be bouncing up and down, smiling, happy. Um, and then that gave me like an amazing feeling, knowing that I played a tiny part in the enjoyment of that individual or those individuals in that evening. And that gave me a feeling. And then what I do now, gives me the same feeling as that. And because when people realize that actually they have all the answers, they had all the answers, they just need permission or the space to be able to think about the stuff. And then when you can see those penny drops or the things click or them try something new for the first time, that gives me a feeling. Because like people are the most beautiful like things in the world, and we're all different, aren't we? And just everybody knowing that they can do more than they're currently doing is, yeah, just the most amazing privileged position that I find myself in.
I love it. Had you ever been nominated before, or like have you been to those awards before?
No, it was my first ever award being nominated for, my first ever award evening. Yeah, I've never been to anything like it before, because I've never been nominated for anything or never like put myself out there. 'Cause it's not about, it's never. I was saying to somebody last week actually, like I love and I love being in the center of a room, working a group of people, like center of attention, but facilitating amazing conversations. I love that. That's like that's where I get my energy from, fueling off other people. But I'm in control of that. At the awards, I was not in control. I didn't know the answers. I didn't know who was going to win, and I didn't get to choose who won. And I didn't like that's what makes me feel like not very comfortable. The lack of control about the situation. So yeah, I've never put myself in a position before, never been nominated before, and yeah, it was just the loveliest warm experience ever.
So what happened after nomination?
Mm. Yeah, so like there's a lot of like people there's what I found after it, what I found actually, there's some people that are quite skeptical about awards and things because there's a lot of awards out there that you can purchase, can't you? You can purchase the title of winner. This wasn't one of those, which just
It's
made it
like being able to
more.
be purchase being ordained. I am
Yeah,
now a reverend.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that how you like me to address you in future?
From now on, yes, please.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So yeah, so this process wasn't one of them. So I was nominated by somebody that I'd done some work with, and then I received notification that I had been nominated. So it was the National Coaching Conference and Award. So it's the only coaching awards that I know about, and it's a national one as well. And so I received that nomination, and then I got a notification that I'd been nominated. And then there was an application form. So they want to know a little bit more about you, and what matters to you, and how you would describe yourself, and all of those things. So I filled out that application. Um, and then,
They
like,
accepted it in crayon, yeah?
yeah, that was crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. um, ah, and then what happened after that was after I was then chosen as a finalist. So then it goes to like a load of judges. They then judge it and score through the set criteria. And
Did you
then
have to
I was
meet them?
awarded. No, it was just based on off the application. The application gets scored, and I was in the category of leadership coach of the year. And then I was a finalist for leadership coach of the year. And then they go, right, if you want your place, all we ask, because it's for a charity, they go, just buy a seat in the evening, just so it goes towards the to the charity and stuff. So I bought a couple of seats, and that was it. Then I was there, and yeah, I didn't win the award I was up for, which
So that I found fascinating. So you're one of the finalists for Leadership Coach of the Year. How early on or late in the awards was that category? Your category?
so that, yeah, it was about halfway through, and that was a different. That was like my thought process through. That was very strange. So, um, because I think there was six finalists in total, and they had like a highly commended with second place, and then the winner was the first place one, and I was going through the day going, oh, it'd be amazing if I could be fortunate enough to be highly commended leadership coach of the year. What an amazing thing that would be to tell folk. Highly commended came up, and I didn't win that one. And then leadership coach of the year, the judges had to like summarize the application, and then I heard the words for leadership coach of the year and the summary, and I thought, oh, that doesn't sound like my application. I wish I'd have put more effort into my application. I wish I'd have just I wish I'd just better. I wish I'd have spent more time filling in some
Less
words. Maybe there was
pictures.
something. Yeah. Less coloured crayons, maybe just a single colour. And then so I started beating myself up straight away. And then quickly brought myself back into the room and thought, oh, let's just enjoy the night then. So that was halfway through, so then just clapping along with the night, and then the final award, and when they were framing the final award, they said now we come to the big one. This is the National Coach of the Year, and it's if you can't win a category and win this one because we've removed you from the categories because your score the score was like just higher than everything else. So I was like, all right, ready to clap, to the listening to everything going on, and then they went Lee Houghton, and that was the most bizarre moment ever, because it felt like it was in slow motion. I saw my name on the screen. People started to turn around and look at me. I dressed down for the day as well, so I was in jeans. Everybody else was like dressed up because I didn't think I was going to win, and then I had to walk towards the stage in my jeans. And then I hadn't prepared anything to say, and I had to say some words as well. And so yeah, it was just lovely,
But
lovely.
you'd gone from disappointment
Yeah.
quickly turning that into, well, look, I'm a finalist. I'm going to enjoy this experience and celebrate whoever does win.
Yeah.
And then it took, but then you go surprise, and was it elation?
Yeah, emotion and overwhelm. Um, so like, so yeah, it was disappointment earlier doors, but it was disappointment, and it was also like beating myself up. Um, and then it was about just like enjoying the moment. And then it was overwhelm and emotion. And between you and me, I cried.
Oh,
I
I
know.
love it.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
What,
So yeah, bizarre.
on stage or off stage?
Just a blubbering mess. Before due and out after the stage, like because I didn't know what to say. And then like my first words were because I couldn't believe that I was there and that I was on stage. And then I walked over to the microphone. I read the plaque, said my name, and then I was like, well, I can't accept this award for myself. And then, as you know, we've spoken in the past about losing my best mate 8 years ago. Dedicated the award to him because that was the catalyst for me doing what I do in a human way, the people side of it rather than the process side of it. So yeah, that was and what has been really lovely and strange afterwards is just the amount of comments, and people were saying, "Oh, I knew you'd win it. I knew you'd win it. I knew you'd win it. I never knew I would win it." Very strange.
Who was um who was the first person that you told that wasn't there?
So I had to tell the family were the first. They were the first, and then LinkedIn.
How did the family react?
Yeah. So I think this comes down to what you were saying earlier on. Like I hadn't made a big deal of it, so it wasn't a big deal because I hadn't made it a big deal. It's been a bigger deal since. So there was like a lot of like praise and kind of like congratulatory messages and stuff. Um, but it was a small event before it became a big thing, if that makes sense. I played it all really
Mm.
down because I didn't want the fall to be such a big fall. Um, yeah, it's been a real education about how I try to protect myself from feeling bad or failure.
Do you like how my approach has been great? I've been effusive in my praise of you, but also been sprinkling in some Mickey take in, and I see it, one of my roles as of you as being your friend is to make sure you don't get Charlie Big Potatoes giving it all the lemon. Just keep you
Yeah,
grounded.
yeah, you do that really well. Yeah, really well. And the fact that I get to see you every single morning means that every single day you have that opportunity to do it. So yeah, no, so thank you. Thank you.
But all joking aside, mate, have you? I mean, you might not have even thought about this, but if you think about the nature of what we both do and what a lot of people on those our little kind of frogging sessions do as well, we're often solo workers. Um, you've got Jason that get knowledge and you work amongst people when you're actually doing the job, but to get to that point, it's you're a solo adventurer. One of the things that I found is, when you're working in amongst a team and you have those very deep connections and you're working on a project together, when you're working and you're working well, your individual contributing to that collective output is recognized, and you go, oh, that was really good. And you have these sort of micro validations of what you're doing is well received. Whereas in our kind of individual world, um, or work world, we don't necessarily get that. Is it? I because it's so soon. Maybe you haven't thought about it at this sort of deep level, but is it kind of giving you validation? Because let's be honest, there's more losses than wins in what we do, right? I'm not saying about when you meet with people and you actually do the leadership coaching. I'm talking about even getting to that point. So has the
Yeah.
award kind of, is it comforting you in a kind of, you're actually good. You are good, and we recognize that.
Well, I think so. Yes, I think it has been absolutely validated, but maybe not in the way that you mean there. Like 20. So I've been doing this now for 20 years, like working with people to help either improve process or the team or whatever. And I always remember about 18, 19 years ago when I kind of like decided, yeah, I really enjoy this. It gives me the same feeling as the DJ and all of that stuff. One of the consultants that I was working with, because the organization that I work with brought in some external consultants. I remember it like it was yesterday, and he said, "There's something about you, Lee, but if you want to be a consultant, you've got to smarten your act. You can't wear the clothes that you were in, and stuff like that." And that really landed with me. And then probably about 4 years ago, I was working again on a contract, and somebody said that I was too different. And so when when I think about the validation, so I am too different in some people's eyes. I needed to smarten my act in other people's eyes. Those two stories, I think, have been like scarred me a little bit. But in that moment, and being awarded National Coach of the Year, like it validated me for being me. And and I think again, and I think one of the reasons why I went back to Chris's lessons before he passed, the first one is always be yourself. And I got that award for being myself, staying true to me and understanding what's important to me. So I think I've mentioned to you before, but you used to be able to always gauge my confidence by how far down my arm my sleeve was, because I've got tattoos starting 2.5 inches down my arm. Like, and I've had like I'm going to call it imposter syndrome, but like, would people really trust the bald guy who talks a little bit funny to help them improve? I've had all of these thoughts throughout the whole 20 years, but I've just carried on. I've got confidence in me, and that award was validation that actually, yeah, I'm doing something right, and I'm doing something right by being me, which
I love it.
was probably one of the reasons it was a bit overwhelming.
I love it. And by smarten up, they meant like wear a shirt and tie and
Yeah, I used to always wear jumpers and jeans, and
top hat,
yeah, yeah, I think that would help. Yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it?
top of the
Yes,
morning.
good. Yeah. Yeah, wait till you see
Is
me
and
tomorrow
isn't it
morning.
funny? Isn't it funny though that then that has come the fact that you got on the stage and got National Coach of the Year in jeans
I
is
know.
is kind of cool, isn't it? And I couldn't help but laugh because um, too different. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so it was so just to get I give the questions that I ask. So I believe that connection is key for everything. And some of the like my favorite question to ask anybody is in a room, it's my favorite icebreaker. It's what did you have for your tea last night? So I don't do the two truths and a lie or any of the other the creeping death ones, because every time you do those like icebreakers in a room, you see people like physically withdraw and they go, "Oh,
Yeah,
do I how do I pick something that's well exciting, that's going to entertain everybody here, or you just see them withdraw. It's not a comfortable question. But if I just go around the room and go, "What did you have for your tea?" Um, then it gives me a glimpse and an insight into their lives. They'll go, "Oh, we had sausage and chips last night because it had to be somewhat quick because the kids were at swimming." Oh, okay, so they've got kids. It just gives me a glimpse, and so people are sharing real personal things really, really quickly for me. So that's what like one question, and then this happened. The two different thing. Every time I meet somebody when I'm going like in when I'm doing some leadership coaching and having to work with people over a long period of time, face to face, I'll ask them what are their favourite biscuits. We'll have a conversation about biscuits. And then next time I turn up, I'll turn up with those biscuits and we'll have a brew and biscuit. Um, because I want them to know that I've listened to them. I want them to know that actually their opinion matters, and all of that stuff. And it was at that point because the person that said it believed that me turning up with biscuits, I was manipulating them. I wasn't manipulating them. I'm just trying to get to know them, and
just
I want to give them a
fattening
little.
them up, if anything.
Yeah, yeah, dead right. Yeah, I'm a feeder.
What is your favorite biscuit?
Hobnob. Let me tell you about hobnobs, right? Chocolate hobnob. I've been on a bit of a journey with hobnobs. Obviously, there's a cost of living crisis, and like I've tried Aldi's, I've tried Morrison's, I've tried like they call them chocolate Orties in a lot of places, and I thought the Asda ones were all right, and then this last week we've had the genuine hobnob back. Oh, I'd forgotten how good that tasted.
Really?
Yeah, 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 a
What a
proper good
week it's
hobnob.
been. What a
Yeah,
week. He's won a
yeah.
national award and he's back to the OG hobnobs.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, now I'm back on the OGs. I don't think there's any going back to the
Life is good.
supermarket. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The measure of success is the quality of biscuit that I am eating, and it
There
is
you
a
go.
chocolate hobnob. What's your favorite biscuit?
Already, mm, good question.
Thank you.
I do, I do like a ginger snap, ginger, anything sort of ginger.
Ooh, a
Yeah, that's
ginger snap.
is that what they're called? You know the just round ginger
Oh,
biscuits. You know
yeah,
the
yeah.
ones I
Like,
mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know the ones. Yeah,
yeah.
nice. Do you dunk it or just eat it
No, no, no,
dry?
no, 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 no,
Or
no
do you not dunk
dunking.
them?
No,
Oh,
no. I
oh
don't
wow.
drink. I don't really drink tea that often. I love my coffee,
Yeah.
espresso, and you can't. that by itself, just the smell, the flavor, the taste, I love it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
soil it with a biscuit.
Yeah.
Equally, I do love a biscuit. So
Mm.
yeah, I'll keep them separate because I could probably give you my top. Following the ginger would be any type of shortbread type biscuit and any
Nice.
one of those.
Yeah.
Um, Partial to a hobnob as well. Jaffa cakes,
Yeah.
although they don't count as a biscuit anymore, do they?
Well, it's a debate that is lost on me, that one. I never really understand what the real answer is.
I think it's just about where they can put them in the shop.
Is it?
There must be people sick of now. Where are your Jaffa cakes? Oh, they're in the
Yeah.
cakes. They're not near the
Yeah.
biscuits. No.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So that there has just proved, I guess, like the asking what your favorite biscuit is. I now know so much about you that I didn't know before just by asking a really innocent question. And I think the more innocent and simple the question can be, the greater the connection we can have. So next time um, we meet, I might have a some gingers nut biscuits available. No cup, no and you don't dunk it. So I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge.
Well, no. And I'm 100% with you on the whole um, dressing thing. Again, I've seen a few of these on LinkedIn with people going, "Oh, you." I'm disappointed that dress codes have started to drop or whatever. Um, and it's one of those where I've always been like, do you know what? It's kind of okay to not have an opinion. Like
Mm,
dress how dress how you want. I can buy into people saying if you get your teams to dress up really smart, it's a physiological change that could result in a change in their behaviors and their activities. Um, and of course, there's a level of appropriateness that applies across the board, right? You couldn't go into any client facing operation even if you weren't seeing people physically with a something offensive or something that's
yeah,
going to designed to antagonize. But it's always been a strange one for me, and especially leaving university and going into the world of contact centers. And like you, I do love a tattoo. In fact, weirdly, the hand tattoos were there was a small part of that because I'd always wanted them, but there was a small part of that that was committing me to being self-employed because I
yeah,
knew that there would be some people if I needed to leave being self-employed and jump back into being on a trapeze with a safety net for a change, that this wouldn't help
mm,
for some people, and that's their choice. So that I
yes,
totally get that, but I can remember being a contact center manager when more and more people were getting tattoos, and I from 18 I was on that bus, right, and um, we I it, the amount of time we must have lost as a management team with the senior leadership debating. And I was working at an outsourcer, and we had a lot of financial services clients. I think we had one of their claims was we had 10 of the top 13 banks in Europe were our clients, and they regularly made visits. Now, on those
yeah,
visits, and we were shirt and Alan Partridge style. We were shirt and trousers. Um, Not you could wear a tie if you wanted to, but one of the things that was causing a bit of a bone of contention was like tattoos. So especially on dress down days. Now we had a client coming in, our contact center director with HR called us all together and said, "Look, we're amending the tattoo policy. We've listened to you because we had a client once that came and genuinely asked." Because it was on a Friday, genuinely asked if we'd all been in some sort of tough mudder. We'd done some sort of team activity that had resulted in a lot of injuries because the policy at the time was they had to be covered. So you had people in t-shirts wearing tubey grip up their arms, all over. And I was like, no, that's we're covering that it's a covered tattoo policy. Really? You're doing that? So the compromise was our lead senior leadership team had agreed a area that like you had to measure it out. So if it fell within a certain
Wow.
area, you could display it. If it
Yeah.
was, but guess what that led to? You'd have people
Go
going,
on.
well, like a sleeve, for example,
Yeah.
is made up of lots of little ones. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
one just big block. And I was like, I'm spending so much of my time.
Wow. Wow. It's like you said before, like it's choice, isn't it? And different people they do judge based on bald head, based on tattoos, based on the way we speak. All people are making judgments based on all of these things. And I guess those are because of certain biases, education, experiences. And I come back to the phrase different is not always better, but better is always different. And we need to understand what better we are aiming for. And I like I said it right at the start, like people are the most beautiful individual things in the world. And we need to embrace that difference as long as it's respectful of the environment and what it is that we're trying to achieve. Um, but yeah, it is a funny one, isn't it? It is a funny one.
That kind of quick judgment and grouping people together based on what is often a physical observation um, is contributing to a lot of division. I think
Mm,
in our society. I don't know what it is. Maybe a varied background, moving around a lot, living in different countries. My default is I don't know, and I want to find out. The default is curiosity. So, yeah, you could look at someone who looks like a comic book nerd, for example, right? You get to know them. They don't like comic books. They're massively into the gym, and they can speak Mandarin. Do you know what I mean? That kind of the discovery of finding out about people when you go past the oh, this person looks like this, so they therefore have all of these attributes. This is where they are politically. This is where they are about these contentious issues, and I imagine their life is like this. I I love being able to discover first before just going, well, that's that person, that's that person, that's that person. Because you're right. I mean, we're in a people based industry and we love being around people, finding out about them, you know, that and all of that. And it's great. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of
yeah, sorry, I'll save you. I'll save you. We
I
put
didn't want to
people into
get
buckets.
political because I could very quickly get into politics.
Yeah, no, I get that. We put people into buckets because it's easier, it's quicker, and we go, okay, well, to deal with this bucket, we'll do this. To deal with this bucket, we do this, and whatever those buckets be defined by the different organisations, um, and stuff. And we do it because it's easier to treat a bucket of people as opposed to an individual, and to really truly connect on a human level, we need to understand the individual person. I've got a 4C models, which is connect, converse, collaborate, and celebrate and reflect. And in a work environment, typically we expect people to collaborate for like we just work together because you are working and we're paying you to work. But true high performance in teams comes if you've got the space to connect and converse about the things that matter. And if you're connecting and conversing about the things that matter, like you're building connections. So if I was to ask you, apart from me, who was the last friend you ever made, and how did you make them? Everybody would have made a friend, and it might be at the local paddle club. It might have been when you're dropping your kids off at the nursery or the school, and then because you've got those things in common. So you connect about those things, you converse about those things, and then you might go and do those things or do something together. In a work environment, we just assume that because people are paid, they will work together. No, we need to connect. And that's why, what's your favourite biscuit? What did you have for your tea last night? What are the things that excite you? Asking these questions about each individual rather than making judgment calls based upon the buckets that we naturally put people in, we'll create a high performing environment. It all comes down to connection of human beings and people. That's where high performance comes from, where I believe anyway.
Completely agree. I mean, I would say one of the best teams I was part of and led for a bit, I think you could say. I'm like you. I would always talk of myself as being part of the team rather than the leader. Was in Istanbul in Turkey, and I would class people as friends, and at that point I couldn't talk any Turkish, and a lot of these people that I was working with couldn't talk English. And one of the country manager once commented saying, "You're the people you hang out with and have a coffee with, and I know you've been going to play football with them, like we did six-a-side football, or we went to watch football, or went out for meals." She went, don't the majority of them, they can't speak English? I was like, yeah, that's right. And your Turkish is like a toddler's. So, um, why are you spending, how can you call them friends? And I said, I don't know. I still don't have the vocabulary to be able to, but it was just some kind of connection, some vibe, some energy, a smile, just it never felt uncomfortable ever.
Love that. Love
It's
that.
weird, isn't it?
It is weird, but I think it's just so human as well. About 10 minutes ago, when you were talking, you were saying about you're a naturally curious individual and you love the discovery, and when you do it with the intention of like putting the other person at the center and the heart of the conversation. That's what builds this this level of connection. And so we don't have to say the same words or eat the
Mm,
same food or drink the same drinks. But like if we demonstrate we truly care and are interested in the other person, then that's golden. In fact, Benjamin Disraeli and William Gladstone. There's a famous story, or maybe not a famous story, but there's a story about those two people. Okay, so they were two people, prime ministers back in the day. They never got on very well, but they both went out on a date with the same lady, like quite close together. And I think somebody from the press or somebody from media asked the lady what it was like to go out with William Gladstone, and she said that she was like privileged and has just spent the night at dinner with the most intelligent man in England. Week after or day after she went out with Disraeli, and then the same reporter said, "So what is it? I was it." And she went, "I feel like I am the most intelligent woman in England after spending the time with Disraeli because their intention was completely different. Gladstone was talking all about his awards, his about himself, and so that's why she felt that way. And Disraeli was talking about her, making her the center of the conversation. And so she felt like she was the most important thing. And this comes down to whether we're talking about coaching, whether we're talking about leading, it's about our intention. Is our intention to help ourselves to achieve the results or whatever? Or are we there to elevate, empower other people? And when you talk about curiosity, um, I've just put a post on LinkedIn recently, actually, about curiosity. And I think curiosity can kill coaching, not the cat, because curiosity, if you're curious for yourself, like for you wanting to learn, then that's just you're going to get the answers. But if you're genuinely trying to create an environment of curiosity for the other person so that they are curious about where they are, how they are showing up, how they are turning up, that's coaching. But some people confuse curiosity as coaching when it's them, they are the beneficiary of it, and that's not coaching. Like it's about the other person, developmental curiosity rather than, I guess, selfish curiosity.
that's
So yeah, be
fascinating.
more Disraeli than Gladstone.
I mean, that is without doubt the best Victorian dating story about politicians I've ever heard. It's like a precursor to dating shows, isn't it? You know,
It's,
that's
it, it is, yeah, it is.
but how
It's,
that kind of curiosity, so allied to kind of having a growth mindset, how do you approach and then coach people who aren't naturally inquisitive or curious, or you don't have that kind of growth mindset? Because one of the things I see is a lot of coaching is more instructional to be functional. You know,
yeah,
you are telling someone how to do the job better rather than eliciting from them a spark that allows them to go and find out themselves and then keep going. So
yeah,
how would you approach that?
yeah. I love that. I love that. Space and time, I think, are two really important things. So sometimes we allow time to force we because we believe that we're short of time, we might force an answer or a leading question onto the other person so that they feel like they've got some level of ownership about it. But if we can just ensure that actually we are there, our intention is to grow the other person, then we have just got to be happy that the questions that we're asking are not leading or directional in any way, shape, or form. And when we ask those questions, we don't bias them. So we need to make sure that they're as short and they're as short as possible. Don't ask a why question. So why questions are quite personal and quite accusatory. So if you ask a what and a how question, my favorite question is what else? Because when I'm in a room and I've asked a question, I'll go, and what else? And what else? Because the other person naturally thinks, oh, I've not answered it fully then. What what other answers are there? If you ask anything else, it's a yes, no. No, that's it, I'm
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So I think the questions that we ask are really important. And as leaders, when I observe leaders coaching, they will ask a question, but then they'll justify the question after they've asked it. So they'll ask a question and then go, and the reason why I'm asking this is, or maybe an example of this is, but you're instantly biasing the thoughts of the other person.
Mm,
So I
mm.
would think about the question that you're asking, make it as short as possible, and provide the space, and be silent. We're taught as well, aren't we, about
Love that.
we're taught about active listening. So we need to nod along, and no, we don't. If we nod along, we are biasing the thoughts of the other person. You've just got to be silent. So if you're like coaching, you ask a question and then just don't say anything and don't give anything away. Just be purely silent. Don't nod, because if you nod, the other person is thinking, "Oh, I'm saying the right thing. I'm going to carry on down that path." Or they're agreeing with what I'm saying. So just don't give anything away, and count to five in your head, because a lot of leaders don't like silence. They'll jump in and then try to help by giving an example, or jump in and try to give an answer to help. So I would say a really short question. I would say start getting comfortable with silence. And if you are in a meeting as a leader, speak last, go last. Don't give your opinion or thought when you're setting up the session. Wait until everybody else has gone, or else everybody will just piggyback off your views and thoughts, because
Mm,
they'll not want to contradict you, because it might not feel safe
mm.
for them to do. So I think it's about our intention. Are we intending to be curious for ourselves, or are we intending to create a space where the other person is curious for themselves? I would say be silent, and I would say ask really short questions and just practice. We don't ever practice. In fact, actually, talking about practice, we don't ever practice silence or listening. I don't think there's any surprise that the word listen and silent are used exactly the same letters. Because to truly listen, you have to be silent, not externally, but internally as well. And what I see a lot of leaders doing, and when I'm coaching them, is they'll ask a question, and then they'll be silent externally, but you can see the cogs turning in their head. They're not silent internally because they're thinking about the next question they have to ask. They'll be thinking about an answer or a direction or what they're going to next. But no,
Or
if
their
you can
favorite
become
biscuit.
or the favorite biscuit, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you can be really silent externally and internally, and just trust yourself to have the question after the other person has finished speaking, not be thinking about the question while that person's, you're, then you're caring, then you're genuinely curious, then the other person is absolutely the center of the conversation. I would say those things for starters.
I love it. I love it. For, I mean, one very, that was one very small, brilliant example of why you're National Coach of the Year and you have 20 years. I mean, look at your face though. You still don't like it. You will start to love it. Um,
You've said that to me before.
um, this has been amazing. And we did this kind of off the cuff. I enjoy any time with you. I always learn something. Let me ask you a couple. I've got three questions. Who do you help, for the listeners that are out there that might be thinking, I want to know more about this guy? Who do you help, and how do they
Yeah.
get in touch with you?
Okay, so predominantly help um, leadership teams move from being a group of individuals to being a high performing team. Um, so currently doing a leadership development program for a group of new directors and new head ofs that are going to be the future leaders of the organization, to help them think more strategically, uh, understand the importance of connection, and fundamentally just work better together. So that's who I help leaders be better leaders by being more human and understanding what that means to them and how they are turning up and showing up. And how can people get in touch? Either join us on a frogging call any morning, or LinkedIn is the easiest and best place.
And I have one final question. Given how long I've known you, I don't know the answer to this either. What was your DJ name?
Yeah. So Uh, so for 18 months. So when I first started, I just like Carlsberg adverts were everywhere because my name's Lee. It said probably the best party DJ in the world, and I guess plagiarized and created a logo which looked like Carlsberg, but he said, yeah, probably the best party DJ in the world. But then because I am similar to yourself in terms of creative and just like impulsive. I thought that my calling was in the world of entertainment, so I bought a bouncy castle business, and the bouncy castle business was called Funky Monkey Inflatables. There's a really long story that I'll not share with you now, that ended up with me getting on a plane with a bouncer with a brown envelope of money in my pocket, and getting a yellow van from picking it up from Southampton Airport. Anyway, so that was Funky Monkey Inflatable. So I thought an amazing marketing exercise would be when I was DJing in Yates's in Bolton for 18 months. I was DJ Funky Monkey. Um, and I had an oversized, which is still in the attic, an oversized monkey outfit. It was only meant to be a gimmick at the start, but I said to the manager, I said, I'll stop wearing this when people stop asking me for photographs. So every single week, there'll be people in and around the town of Bolton that maybe 15 years ago would have a picture of a terrible monkey outfit and stood next to them. So yeah, DJ Funky Monkey. This isn't being recorded, is it?
Oh yeah, 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 the whole thing. I mean, and that we've peaked. We've absolutely peaked because on tomorrow's frogging call, um, I will move off the "Have you bought your trophy? Can we see your trophy?"
Yeah,
Um, and I'm
amazing.
definitely now fully on the. I'm in the DJ Funky Monkey camp now. That is it.
Perfect. I will send you a picture
I
later.
Please do, and I might even change your name from Yoda in my contacts to DJ Funky Monkey.
So, but what this also had as well, because they had like the billboard, not billboards, they had like the signage outside. It says something like DJ Funky Monkey with his crazy tunes and his funky balloons, or his funky tunes and his crazy balloons, or whatever. Because I taught myself how to balloon model, so I could make flowers and swords, or male or female teddies, and yeah, so. So yeah, so I used to balloon model whilst dressing as a monkey in Yates in Bolton for 18 months.
And this is why we should always be curious. Lee Houghton. Um, I always get the pronunciation of your surname wrong, though, don't I?
Um, I don't think there's a right and a wrong way. Um, there's just different ways.
Well, what is it?
So my dad says Houghton, but I'm sure
Houghton.
yeah, there's other people that say. I
I
remember going
think I
on a
got it
lot.
right, but I got it wrong earlier. This is why
Yeah,
it's going to be so much easier now to say DJ Funky Monkey.
that's it. Yeah, just rolls off the tongue. It rhymes, doesn't it? Rhymes. I thought it was genius at the time.
Lee, thank you so much. And thanks as well for, all joking aside, talking about the award, what it means to you. I would recommend not only getting in touch with Lee, but also going back and listening to the previous time or one of the previous times Lee's come on to hear the inception story, if you like, of why Lee does what he does, because that is a beautiful, a beautiful, beautiful tale. That certainly gets you in the feels. So DJ Funky Monkey, thank you for coming
Yeah.
on. Get
No,
out of
Mr.
rap.
Teasdale. Thank you so much. Honestly, you just keep being you, keep doing what you do, yeah, just thank you for everything.
Shabbat.